Hello, good afternoon, and you're very welcome to Live Line. It's a Friday before Christmas. Next Christmas Eve, next Wednesday morning, we will have our Funny Friday gang on duty in Grafton Street. On Tuesday, we're doing our book special, and on Monday, we're doing the best of Funny Friday. But today, we wanted to kick off a suggestion that came to us over the week when we heard Pete St. John, the wonderful Pete St. John, on Morning Ireland, singing his new song, Never Drink and Drive. And somebody suggested, why has there not been a programme devoted to the man who wrote, among other songs, The Fields of Athenry, now recorded in 50 different languages, 846 versions of it on the net, whether you like it or not. And it's Ted Kennedy's party piece, and you know the Munster fans sing it, the Celtic fans sing it, and the man who wrote it is sitting opposite me with a number of friends who I'll introduce in a minute. Pete St. John, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Joe. I'm delighted to be here.
When did you write The Fields of Athenry?
That was back in '79, I believe, and I thought I had written just another lovely ballad, and Danny Doyle picked up on it immediately one night in the Old Embankment, and I said, well, off you go, Danny. So we played around. Danny can be very fussy, as all the lads here know, and it took him a while to get his head around the story, and we went to America with it and established it there. And then one day I had Paddy Riley coming out to do some gigs with us in the States. So I had Paddy Riley, I had Danny Doyle and a group called Celtic Folk. And while we were there doing the gig, Paddy said, well, when I go home, he was actually thinking at the time of packing in the business and opening a pub with Mick McCarthy from Embankment fame, and he said, I'm going to sing The Fields of Athenry as my final song when I go home. Well, he did. And how many years ago is that?
And so, Paddy Riley was in the charts for something like 72 weeks.
Yeah, I called the record companies to think maybe that we would take it out as a single because I couldn't compete with myself. So we would just stick it on an album, and maybe I can write another one. So thanks be to God it took off, and we have it today as a kind of perennial.
And how did it become the anthem in Scotland, the anthem for the Munster fans, the anthem for the Irish fans as well in parts? How did it become this anthem?
Well, we were one night in a gig in London. I was there with Patsy Watchorn and the Dublin City Ramblers, and Packy Bonner stood up and sang the song. So we backed him for it, and he took it up to Celtic, and Celtic invited me up, and they picked up on it. And then eventually I was invited over to Parkhead to sing it a cappella out in the middle of the pitch. So I nearly had a heart attack. So I went out and told the audience, 60,000 people in Parkhead, and I'm in the middle of the pitch singing a cappella. So I thanked them for looking after the 15,000 that we sent them back in the famine times for looking at us, because they all had fever. And then I said, I'd like to sing it with you. So all I had to do was sing the first note, and the audience sang the rest. So it was quite a moment.
And how long did it take you to write it?
Well, I was always interested in that period of the famine times in Ireland, and I thought it was the most horrific event in the 19th century. So I decided I'd write a song about it, and travelling down there and reading some of the old scripts in the university in Galway, Oscailiga, I thought I had a look at the area around, and Athenry was the place I chose. So I don't think too many people had heard about Athenry at the time, but now there are bus tours.
When was the last time you were in the Fields of Athenry?
About a year ago. They invited me down to make me, give me the mace and chain and all the rest. There's a lovely interpretive centre in the town now, and so I went along and met the people, and we sang the song again.
But apart from going to UCG and looking up the archive and basing the song on that, you had no connection with Athenry. You just picked Athenry because you saw it on the way back and it struck you as a...
Yeah, I just felt that the fields actually do look lonely down at Athenry, and we would call that small town a wiper blade, because when we're out gigging with the lads on a rainy night, we'd be going so fast we'd only pass the place with one wipe of the screen.
Okay, let's meet the lads that are here with us. We've Tony Malone and his gay guitar here.
He's easy off there.
Friend of Pete. Jerry O'Connor on banjo, maestro. Pete St. John himself in the middle. Brian Furlong is beside him there, and Charlie, which Brian is on bass at the minute, and Charlie McGettigan is going to lead off in the fields of Athenry, and with Kathy Nugent here as well. So it's a great gathering. Our phone lines are open: 1857 15815 51551. Text, and Joe at rte.ie. Who's going to lead off in the fields of Athenry?
I'm sure I love it. Funny thing, it always occurs to me, it's such a sad song and people sing it with such gusto, at football matches, and it's this really, really sad song. Oh, Royal of Field.